The Queen of Violence has joined us today. It's Ariane Lipski, and she takes on Karine Silva at UFC Vegas 91 this Saturday in Las Vegas. And first of all, Ariane, thank you so much for taking the time doing this interview in your busy schedule. First of all, how are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. Last week, no fight week, just uh focus on technique, finish the cutting weight process, and get ready for Saturday.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, you came from Brazil, I think, a couple of
Yes,
days ago. Did you had a good flight? Did everything went well from Brazil to Vegas, where you are now?
Actually, I'm living in Florida. I've been living in Florida since 2020. So, but the fight was good. The fight
Uh,
was perfect.
Okay, okay, cool, cool. Um, yeah, let's talk about first about your last fight against Casey ONeil. It's a fight that got you in the rankings. You look really good in that fight. Three fight win streak. Actually, your 2023 run really good. Three fights, three wins there. Um, can you tell me what changed? Because when you came in the UFC, you had wins, sometimes losses, wins, but now you have a good three fight win streak. Did you change anything in your preparation to fights, or is it just going very well right now? Can you tell me a little bit more about it, if possible?
Mm, first when I came to FC, I wasn't in a better moment. Like physically, I had injuries, so I had the tough years before I signed to FC. So I wasn't in my best moment, like physically and mentally for sure. So after I got my two first loss in UFC, so I had to rebuild everything. So we got a good result we were training and living in Brazil, but I felt I need a partners training, who had wrestling, who would like try to train with me. My opponents would train. So that's what we came to the US, and like we had trained like in big gyms, and that didn't work. I felt like there was so many coaches giving their advice, and I almost like lose my focus. So we work in Brazil. My privates, our personalized training, just me, my head coach Renato Silva. Now I have jiu-jitsu coach Jasmine Rocha. I have my partners train. Everything like not a big team, but right people behind me who work with me. So I think that was the make the biggest difference. Like when we talked about technical, but I feel what really make the life were when like I just changed myself. I made the one decision that made all the difference in my life. That when I find myself like spiritually, that I gave my life to Jesus. So I found purpose on my career, on what I do. So it gives more confidence. It gives confidence on my coach. It gives confidence on myself. It gives me confidence on what I'm doing right here and why I'm doing this. So I think that's the biggest difference. And I could show that in my last three fights last year.
Yeah, you definitely did. I think you look really good in those three fights, in your last three fights. Now you're taking on countrywoman Karine Silva. Um, I'm actually kind of surprised that this fight was booked in the Apex another week later because you're both from Brazil, and I would think the Brazilian crowd would love to see two Brazilian women fight each other. But how do you think about that actually? And what do you think about your opponent, Karine Silva?
So she was actually with a fight booked on UFC 299 in
Yeah,
Miami against
Lauren Murphy.
um yes, Larry Murph. And then Larry Murph got injured and they offered me the fight. But I just had like 4 weeks to train and I was in Brazil. I was like in vacation. So I said, I have to fight on that date. I won't be ready. I don't need to take a fight like this, in a short notice. I just, had a great performance. I need like a full camp and fight her. So this fight for April 27. I don't know why they don't book it to Brazil, but like it doesn't matter, you know, it happened when it has to happen. So that was why I think that why they booked for Apex.
Hmm.
And against Karina, I know her. I know her. I saw her fight. I know what she's good. But like you know, I respect her as a fighter, but I know the difference of the level that the opponents I have been facing in UFC since I came to UFC. You know, I have fight with the toughest opponents on my division. I have a lot of experience. I think I am one of the most experienced fighters on my divisions. So I respect her. I trained really hard for this fight to be ready, like for striking or grappling, and I'm really focused to have a great performance Saturday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And you're mentioning also the Apex. I remember you fought in KSW in the Coliseum event, which was still the biggest attendance event ever. I think over 57K people. Um, is there a big difference for you fighting in the Apex now fighting for 57K people? I mean, there's obviously a difference, but does it are you like is it important to you that there's a big crowd, or are you also cool with like a small crowd and fighting there? What's your preference?
You know, a big crowd, it's nice, scream, and I feel like okay, it just make me like excited to fight. But also on Apex, I like it because I could like heard my well, and you know, it's different, but like I can fight both. I could find the way I work in both, like even with a big crown or no in Apex, I know how to focus myself, just me, my opponent.
I got one more question for you, and that's I asked that to every Brazilian fighter I talk to. There is I don't know if you're familiar with it, but there in America there's a mountain with presidents with four hats on it. And because you're in Brazil, you have so much legacy with champions, legends in Brazil from the MMA. I wanted to ask you if you have to pick four legends from Brazil, in your opinion, who you think are really important for MMA. And it can be like your personal preference, like from current day or back in the day, like just legendary fighters in your opinion. Who are the four people you would put there as the biggest four Brazilian fighters of all time?
I would put like that's hard questions, you know, even more from Curitiba, you know, we have so many legends there. But I would pick like Anderson Silva, Shogun Rua, and Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg.
That's a beautiful Mount Rushmore, they call it. So beautiful Brazilian Mount Rushmore. Ariane, don't want to take any more of your time. I really appreciate talking to you. Really appreciate you taking the time, and wish you best of luck in your fight on Saturday. And hope you get the win you're searching for. Thank you so much.